Continuing from the previous episode 1110. What's the matter? Suicide? When Xiao Yan heard the words of the Soul Eater, a scene of shock emerged in his heart. That's right, suicide. The master of Soul Eater smiled slowly when he saw Xiao Yan was so shocked. According to your previous situation of swallowing the holy flame, only when you are in crisis, the flaming beast will directly escape from the sea of fighting qi to save you. From this, it can be concluded that this guy can freely enter and exit your sea of fighting qi. And at that time, you were in danger because you swallowed the holy flame, and the flame beast appeared. So according to my speculation, if you are in danger, the flame beast will also show up. After all, he lives in your body, and he will definitely not let you have an accident. After the flaming beast appears, you can directly use the power of 2 holy flames to lock you to death. No matter how tyrannical the flaming beast is, you will not be able to go back. If that's the case, then you can rest assured to condense the Do core and advance to Do Immortal. The Soul Eater analyzed. It makes sense. However, I don't have a trace of Do Qi in the sea of Do Qi in my body. How can I compress the sea of Do Qi to condense the Do Qi? Xiao Yan heard this, his brows relaxed immediately, but the next moment, he became suspicious again. These secrets are probably related to flaming beasts. Wait for it to be brought out, and question it carefully. But don't worry, kid, according to what I read in a book before, your fighting spirit is a great good thing, but I can't remember the specific book. Said Soul Eater, that's the only way it can be now. Xiao Yan heard the words, no longer in a deep voice, but slowly and calmly, quietly waiting for the arrival of tomorrow. The night at Gaiwangling was extremely cold, and it was accompanied by the roar of the dark wind, which made people feel fearful. The next day, the vigor of the morning just dissipated, and a beautiful day began. Brother Xiao Yan, you got up early enough. As soon as Qingwen came out of the tent, he saw Xiao Yan sitting cross-legged under a big tree not far away. Morning is the best time for all things to recover. This kind of cultivation will help improve your strength. Seeing this, Xiao Yan also smiled at each other, and then spoke slowly. How did Xiao Yan know about these things? He came out early just to familiarize himself with the terrain in the Ghost King Ridge, but before he could move, Qingwen appeared, so he had to do it. It's getting late. Let's go. After a few more minutes, figures came out of the tents one after another, and then Qingwen said, This girl is born with water spirit, but why do I feel that there is something not simple about this girl? That kind of ghost energy is not something that a little ghost king can have. The Soul Eater in Xiao Yan's body used Xiao Yan's body to look at Qing'er from a close distance. Naturally, the feeling was stronger, and he said slowly, Dao, but did not mention it to Xiao Yan. Let's go. The group of 5 slowly looked at each other, then headed towards the depths of Ghost King Ridge, and Xiao Yan was also looking forward to whether the Ghost Moon well was as mysterious as it was said to be. At the same time as Xiao Yan and the others were walking, some uninvited guests appeared at the foot of the Ghost King Mountain. Tell me, where are your masters now? 3 men in robes appeared here with a bound figure. The one in the lead, with a very sharp breath, directly faced a bound man. Sternly, Haha, Yuquan, you are nothing but the lackey of the Yu family. I won't tell you the position of my master, even if he dies. But the bound figure was a tough guy, still unwilling to accept soft words. Mr. Yu, this Qing family has been tough since ancient times. Why are you talking nonsense with him? You can just kill him. According to my estimation, the young master and the eldest lady of the Qing family are probably in the Ghost Moon well at this time. If we are dawdling like this, I am afraid that the things that the master has explained to us will not be able to be done. Among the 3 figures, standing the figure on the side of the fierce man said, To shut up, Yu Jin Yuyin, you have to remember that you were sent by the master to assist me. If you're not convinced, just go back. The stern man said viciously, What Yu is teaching is. Seeing that his words and deeds seemed to anger this big man, Yu Jin Yuyin couldn't help but smile. This stern man is clearly Yu Quan, the current manager of the Yu family. His strength has reached the middle stage of 1-star fighting immortals. Go. He didn't say anything, just took him. When we meet someone from the Qing family, we just have a bargaining chip in our hands. After Yu Quan finished speaking, a sinister smile slowly appeared on the corner of his mouth, obviously thinking of some sinister plan. Right, Yu is in charge. The people from the Lei family seem to have also received the news and rushed here. At the next moment, Yu Jin spoke slightly. Leis, Qings, Yus, all three are here. But the person from the Qing family who was in charge of going back and tipped off was stopped by us. Our opponent is only the Lei family. This time, Gui Yuexing, I am afraid that the biggest winner will be us. Yu Quan muttered a few words, and then thought. How many people are in the Lei family? Yu Quan asked. It seems that one person is here. The madman of the Lei family, Lei Shi. Yu Jin said. Is it Lei Shi in the early days of one-star fighting immortals? Yu Quan seemed to have thought of something when he heard this. Go. This auction is just around the corner. The powers of the respective forces in the Ghost King City are being supervised by each other. I'm afraid there will be no more people available. This Ghost Moon Well will be the tomb of their Qinglei family rustling. After Yu Quan finished speaking, ghost aura surged on his body, that aura, extremely dark, with a trace of rare cyan energy. The manager's strength has actually reached the middle stage of one-star fighting immortal. It's so terrifying. After Yu Jin and Yu Yin felt the aura, their hearts couldn't help condensing. After the three of them finished speaking, they knocked out the people of the Qing family who were bound, and then walked towards the depths of Ghost King Ridge. Boom, boom, boom. Not long after the three of them left, a tyrannical figure like thunder appeared directly above its original position. Quite scary. The Qing family and the Yu family are here. The tyrannical figure's keen sense of smell sniffed in the air, and then he smelled two familiar breaths and muttered. Patriarch said that there are good things in Ghost Moon Well. If I can bring it back this time, I will have half of it. I just don't know what good things are in Ghost Moon Well. After Lei Shi finished speaking, the power of thunder on his body slowly extinguished, and the movement was suppressed, and he gently stepped out into the depths. At the same time, outside the Ghost Moon Well, a rather tyrannical force gathered. The Qing family, the Yu family and the Lei family, I don't know who will be the real winner. There are more than 10 days before the exam. I have been too busy recently. This story is a bit sloppy, please forgive me. This story is just a small episode, it will be written well later. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1111. In the Ghost King Ridge, every cloudy moon attracts some powerful people who come here. The purpose of these powerhouses is naturally Ghost Moon Well. The Ghost Moon Well is located in the deepest part of the Ghost King Ridge. The terrain is dangerous, and there are many powerful soul beasts guarding it. Even the powerhouse with average strength does not dare to enter it rashly. However, every time on the night of the full moon in the dark moon, some rather mysterious things will appear in the Ghost Moon Well. These mysterious things are rumored to be powerful martial arts and fighting skills, and there are rumors that they are the magic elixir of life and death. The powerhouses who successfully obtain treasures from the Ghost Moon Well will all undergo transformation. Whoosh whoosh. With a series of sparse voices, several figures slowly appeared in this dense vegetation. Little brother Xiao Yan, in 3 days, it will be the night of the full moon. By then, we must defeat the guardian spirit beast no matter what, otherwise we will have no chance to approach the Ghost Moon Well, and we will just come here in vain. For a moment, among the dense vegetation, a rather empty space was directly opened up by one of the Qing family's subordinates, and several tents were slowly set up, and then Qing Wen smiled at Xiao Yan. Oh, and the guardian spirit beast? I don't know what kind of guardian spirit beast is. How's your strength? Xiao Yan heard the words, originally wanted to go back to the tent to rest. After all, there are still 3 days, but after hearing Qing Wen's words, he asked slightly, after all, knowing yourself and knowing the enemy, you will be safe in 100 battles. That is a soul beast that has entered adulthood. Qingniu Tianmu. When Qingwen heard the words, he immediately spoke, and there was some bitterness in his voice. Obviously, in the past month, the 5 members of the Qing family were blocked by this soul beast, otherwise they should have arrived near the Ghost Moon Well at this time. What? It's actually Qingniu Tianmu? When Xiao Yan heard the invitation to the document, his expression suddenly became strange. It's the Qingniu Tianmu. Is there any problem? Qinger, who was beside her, looked at Xiao Yan so shocked and couldn't help asking. It's fine. Xiao Yan smiled slowly, the bright smile replaced the shock, and then walked back to his tent, but his heart was overturned. Qingniu Tianmu. This is a soul beast known to Xiao Yan in the Xuanling continent. It is a kind of soul beast known for its strength. When entering adulthood, I am afraid that its strength can be comparable to that of the middle-stage human beings. And don't forget, this kind of soul beast is famous for its strength. If it really fights, I am afraid that the average one-star fighting immortal mid-stage powerhouse will be invincible. The 4 members of the Qing family watched Xiao Yan act like this and went back to the tent without disturbing him, and went back to rest. In the process of cultivation, generally everyone has an attribute, but because I am an alchemist, the bright fire attribute is mixed with a trace of wood attribute. But no matter what, this wood attribute cannot be fully activated after all. And if you kill this Azure Niu Tianmu soul beast, the soul core in its body should help me stimulate the wood attribute. The fire attribute is already an extremely powerful booster, but if it is stimulating the wood attribute, I am afraid that the attack and defense will be integrated. At that time, it will also have the power to protect itself against some powerful enemies. But Xiao Yan's matter was in his heart. He smiled slowly. Boy. Don't forget the soul beast nature of Qingniu Tianmu. When Xiao Yan thought of this, the Soul Eater Master couldn't help but say, "The essence of Qingniu Tianmu? Could it be Tianmu?" But Xiao Yan was so little bit by Soul Eater that he couldn't help being shocked. That's right, since this soul beast has the strength to fight immortals, maybe there will be Tianmu. Qingniu Tianmu and Qingniu coexist, a bit like the accompanying amethyst source of the amethyst-winged Lion King in your previous plane. And if there is Tianmu, I am afraid that it can completely stimulate the wood attribute in the body. At that time, the 2 attributes of fire and wood will be enough for you to deal with some difficult enemies," said Soul Eater. "I don't know what is the use of this Tianmu." And Xiao Yan heard the words and smiled slowly. The information about the Azure Bull Tianmu soul beast was known to Xiao Yan by chance when he was on the Xuanling continent, but the details are not very clear. It's not your fault. The secret of the Qingniu Tianmu soul beast, let alone you, I am afraid that in this ghost world, only very few people know it. And this Tianmu is something that has been born since the birth of Qingniu Tianmu. It grows with its strength, but it is a bit like a piece of wood, said the Lord of Soul Eater. Wood? When Xiao Yan heard this, he couldn't help but be stunned. Don't underestimate this wood. During the training of Do Qi, among Do Di, it is divided into the power of life and death, and when advancing to Do Xian, the force of life and death is perfectly integrated, resulting in a more powerful force of Do Xian. The power of fighting immortals is divided according to your attributes, but it is much more tyrannical than the power of life and death. And this Tianmu, although it's just a piece of wood, but because it is associated with the Azure Ox Tianmu soul beast, the huge wood attribute power contained in it is enough to fully stimulate your wood attribute, and it's even more powerful. Soul Eater the Lord said quite fiery. Really? Xiao Yan heard the words and seemed to know what the Soul Eater meant. Hey, simply put, because you are an alchemist, it is very likely that you have the fire wood attribute, but after you stimulate the wood attribute, your strength is the same as that of ordinary people who cultivate the wood attribute. But if you absorb the power in the sky tree, your wood attribute is undoubtedly much stronger than others. For example, comparing the strength of ordinary people who cultivate the fire attribute to 1, and the fire attribute power of your pharmacists is twice that of their normal people. As for you, after swallowing the holy flame, the fire attribute power has reached 6 times or even more. Gao, if light is the power of fire attribute, no one at the same level will be your opponent. And this Tianmu is similar to your holy flame. The Soul Eater explained slowly. So it is. After listening to the Master of Soul Eater, he suddenly smiled, but the corners of his mouth were laughing. After swallowing the holy flame, Xiao Yan, among the powerhouses of the same level who also cultivated the fire attribute, could almost walk sideways. It's not a problem to have a leapfrog battle. Leaping. This is no child's play. If it is above the Do Qi continent, the battle of the Do Emperor and Do Wang level is also commonplace, but in this new world, the gap between the Do Emperor and the strong can be determined by a small level, not to mention the more advanced order. The stronger the strength, the more difficult it will be to fight. However, if relying on the tyranny of the firewood attribute, Xiao Yan still has this confidence. For now, let's look forward to it. I hope this Azure Ox Tianmu spirit beast is really guarding Tianmu, otherwise it will be a waste of our time. Xiao's eyes became deep, and then he looked into the distance. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1112. In 3 days, 2 days passed in a blink of an eye. In the past 2 days, in the originally quiet Ghost King Ridge, many strong people emerged. Obviously, their purpose was to come for the Ghost Moon well. Hey, have you heard of it? It is said that the members of the 3 Qingniu and Lei families in the Ghost King City have arrived, and there is a good show to watch. Some idle figures on the back of a rock couldn't help but discuss. The Lei family is the weakest, and although the Qing family is stronger than the Lei family, the Qing family is the Yu family's deadly rival. It seems that this time Yinyuetan has a good show. Some figures on the back of the rock said, "Your news is out of date. According to the information I got, this time, the Qing family sent their young master and eldest young lady to come to Yinyuetan. I'm afraid they want to use Yinyuetan's mystery to break through Dodi. But how could the people of the Yu family let them get their wish? The Yu family directly sent Yu Quan, the steward of the Yu family, to stop it. I'm afraid this time, it will be quite exciting." Dozens of figures spoke back and forth. "Little brother Xiaoyan, are you up yet?" And where the Qing family was in charge of the camp, Qingwen stood outside the tent quite politely and asked. "Brother Qing, early." Xiao Wenyan came out to greet him. "Let's go. Tomorrow morning will be a rare full moon night. Today, we must pass the level of Qingniu Tianmu." After a while, Qingwen said, "Let's go then." Xiao Yan also glanced around and said immediately after hearing this, "That's right, young master. It's been a few days, and the guards who are in charge of going back to deliver the news haven't heard anything yet." This, one of the 2 guards couldn't help asking. It should be something went wrong on the way. "Let's go first." After Qingwen said that, she and Qinger prepared to walk. "What about the 2 subordinates of the Yu family?" The next moment, the 2 subordinates of the Qing family were asking. "Gotcha." Facing this question, Qing Wenwen's smile slowly showed a rather serious expression, and then he gestured directly at his throat. Seeing this, the 2 Qing family guards looked at each other, and then walked towards the back of the tent. Obviously, there is Miss Qinger here, which is not suitable for 2 bloody. "Let's go, little brother Xiaoyan." After finishing all this, Qing Wen sent an invitation. "Don't rush to leave. I think we might have to delay a little time here." Xiao Yan smiled slowly when he heard the words, and his eyes were also fixed on the tent where the 2 Qing force guards just went. "Do you have anything else to do?" Qinger stuck her head slightly and said something. "Resolve some pests." After Xiao Yan finished speaking, his figure suddenly disappeared, and then behind the tent, a wind sounded. "Are you all right?" After defeating the terrorist attack with 1 blow, Xiao Yan asked the 2 guards of the Qing family. "No, it's okay. Thank you, Xiao." When the 2 Qing family guards saw this, they couldn't help but cast grateful glances at Xiao Yan. The 2 subordinates of the Yu family have been knocked unconscious and placed behind the tent. The 2 of them came, naturally wanting to kill him, but who thought that just when they came here, a silent attack suddenly attacked the 2 of them. If Xiao Yan hadn't appeared in time, they would have been seriously injured if they didn't die. Haha, when did the Qing family accept such a keenly perceptive powerhouse? Seeing that his attack failed, he did not complete the damage, and a voice with a little surprise slowly came out from the air. "Yu family Yu Quan?" Qing Wen and Qinger just saw Xiao Yan's figure, and immediately knew that something was wrong, but after seeing the figure of the man wearing the feather robe in the sky, their faces became ugly. "Stand up, the young master and the eldest lady of the Qing family. I haven't seen you for a long time. The eldest lady is really getting better and better as she grows." Yu Quan's figure just appeared, and he immediately smiled at Qinger. Although there was no ordinary person's frivolity in the smile, it was full of killing intent. "Xiao Yan, hurry up, this guy is a true fighting immortal powerhouse, and he is not on the same level as the half-hearted half-immortal before." Seeing Yu Quan appearing, Qinger's willow brows slanted and said to Xiao, there was urgency in the voice. "A real fighting immortal," and Xiao Yan couldn't help muttering as he looked at Yu Quan, who was slowly descending. "This guy is really strong. It doesn't look like he has just been promoted to Do Xian. But I just swallowed the holy flame and merged the power of 2 holy flames. I also want to try my limit." And Xiao Yan, feeling the invisible pressure emanating from Yu Quan's body, not only did he not have any fear, but he even had a hint of joy. The previous half-immortal strength was simply not enough to practice on his own, so Xiao Yan didn't know where his limits were at this moment. However, according to Xiao Yan's guess, although he is only at the peak of Do Di, with the power of the two holy flames, it is not a problem to deal with some powerhouses in the early stage of 1-star Do Xian, and even some middle-stage powerhouses in Do Xian are not at all. Fear. He had dealt with the strength of the Banxian before, and the opponent died before he could fight, which made Xiao Yan quite depressed. Boy. These two are members of my Yu family, hand them over. Yu Quan couldn't help saying, looking at the two figures who were unconscious on the ground. Because even if he is strong enough to be in the middle stage of 1-star Do Xian, when facing this kid whose strength is only at the peak of Do Di, there will be an aura of fear. This is an unprecedented thing, so Yu Quan did not show himself. Domineering attitude. These two are vainly trying to belittle our elder sister Qing. As a bodyguard, I should naturally arrest them. As for the fate of these two, how to execute them is entirely up to our elder sister. But if you really want to go back, it's not impossible. Xiao Yan smiled slowly. 3 medicinal pills of the 3rd rank of the emperor. Xiao Yan stretched out 3 fingers, then looked at Yu Quan with a smile on his face and said, "Boy, it looks like you haven't died before. This time, let me teach you how to respect the strong." When Yu Quan heard the words, he was furious, and a terrifying blue-colored fighting spirit burst out from his body, surrounding the entire venue. Whoosh whoosh. The blue-colored Do Qi contained terrifying power, which directly caused Xiao Yan's body to vibrate the force of life and death slightly. Is the power of the wind attribute fighting immortal? However, this is the best way. After Xiao Yan felt Yu Quan's attributes, he laughed and prepared to fight. After all, the provocation just now was only to force Yu Quan to take action. You and Xiao Yan go first, and I will take care of the rest. Let's go. Seeing Yu Quan's fighting spirit, Qingwen frowned, jumped directly into the battle circle, pulled Xiao Yan's figure away, and said something softly. "Little brother Xiao Yan, take good care of my little sister for me." After Qingwen finished speaking, she looked at the young Yu Quan with a frozen expression. "You go out, this guy, I can handle it." And Xiao Yan saw Qingwen's actions. No doubt his heart warmed, but a force of life and death directly sent him out of the battle circle. After all, although Qingwen has a very real temperament, but you can't ruin your own good. Continuing from the previous episode 1113. What? Qingwen couldn't help roaring as he felt Xiao Yan slowly pushing his figure out. Qingwen knew that Xiao Yan's strength was at the pinnacle of Do Di. Although he had killed the Banxian-level leader of the Yu family before, Banxian and Dushan were far behind. "Brother." Qingniu stretched out her hand and supported Qingwen's figure, and then said with a frown. "Hey, this guy, I hope he's not a reckless person." Seeing Xiao Yan's actions, Qingwen undoubtedly murmured, but if something happened to Xiao Yan, he would definitely not sit idly by. The power of life and death, the pinnacle of Emperor Do. I'm curious how you killed our half-immortal level leader of the Yu family. Seeing Xiao Yan sending Qingwen away, only himself and Xiao Yan were left in the battle circle, Yu Quan said with a smile. "Don't you know if you try it?" At this time, Xiao Yan exuded a black and asterisk of life and death, and also smiled at Yu Quan. "It seems that you still don't understand the power of Do Xian strong. Alright, today I'll let you know what a fighting immortal powerhouse is." Yu Quan smiled, his smile full of killing intent. The power of fighting immortals, the Wind Eagle bundle. The next moment, Yu Quan's figure suddenly lifted into the sky, and his body flashed with a blue fighting spirit. The blue-colored Do Qi was unusual, and it even gave Xiao Yan a very heavy suppression. It could be seen that the force of fighting immortals was indeed much more powerful than the force of life and death. And as Yu Quan's voice just fell, in the sky, 100 Zhang giant eagle condensed from Cyan Do Qi slowly came out. Whoosh whoosh. The giant eagle just appeared, and his eyes were fixed on Xiao Yan. On his body, there was no doubt that the fierce aura was on display. The power of fighting immortals with the wind attribute, although the destructive power is not as strong as my fire attribute, but under enough wind, it is enough to kill with one blow. Xiao Yan looked at the blue giant eagle in front of him, and muttered slightly. "Kill me." As if feeling the huge aura emanating from the giant eagle beside him, Yu Quan smiled slightly, and issued a vicious order directly. Crash! Yu Quan's voice just fell, when the giant tiger's azure energy wings fluttered, and the speed was extremely high, and it flew towards Xiao Yan. The speed was so fast that it caused some phantoms to appear in the line of sight. Seventh layer breaking the sky. Xiao Yan looked at this tyrannical attack and did not dare to neglect it. He took off the ancient ruler of eternal fire behind him instantly. The power of flame in his body burned in an instant, and immediately wrapped the ancient ruler of eternal fire, 700 feet in size. The energy ruler Mang madly attacked the energy giant eagle. Ha ha ha, it's useless. The giant eagle transformed by the power of Do Xian, can instantly tear apart all your attacks. Boy, you should pay the price for your recklessness. Yu Quan couldn't help roaring when he saw Xiao Yan's actions. Yu Quan was clearly aware of the tyranny of the Cyan giant eagle. Xiao Yan's attack seemed tyrannical, but under the giant eagle with the power of fighting immortals, it was tantamount to hitting a stone with an egg. Shabu shabu. The Cyan giant eagle's claws suddenly opened, and then it directly caught Xiao Yan's 7 claws one after another, and then crushed it with one blow. The power of fighting immortals is indeed tyrannical. Xiao Yan was not too panicked when he saw this scene. After all, the attack just now only used his fire attribute and did not use the power of holy flame. However, the mere giant eagle just wants to get me, it's too easy. The next moment, Xiao Yan roared as he watched the Cyan giant eagle ripped his 7 feet apart. Tear him apart for me. But Yu Quan shouted loudly when he saw Xiao Yan's strange smile. Brother. When Qingniu below saw this scene, there were other emotions flashing in her beautiful eyes. Obviously, even if she had only one relationship with Xiao Yan, she saved her after all. It's human nature. I know. At this time, Qingwen's face was extremely ugly, and the power of life and death in his body soared. Obviously some powerful attack was brewing. Die. Looking at Xiao Yan, who seemed to give up his resistance, Yu Quan didn't care and said slowly. After all, Xiao Yan is only a guard of the Qing family. Although his strength is a little perverted, but with his own status, they still dare not do anything to kill some of the Qing family's scoundrels. Really? And Xiao Yan watched as the blue giant eagle's front claws shrank suddenly, grabbed it towards his forehead, and tried to kill him with one blow, but smiled slowly. As soon as the voice fell, the ancient ruler of eternal fire on the palm suddenly became bright, and an inexplicable and powerful force slowly emerged. Move the sky ruler. Move it for me. And looking at the Cyan giant eagle that was close at hand, Xiao Yan's palm suddenly flashed a strange light, and instantly completely enveloped the Cyan giant eagle. Peefed. With a sound, the figure of the Cyan giant eagle was instantly devoured by Xiao Yan's strange light. Bastard. Upon realizing this scene, even Yu Quan couldn't help but curse. Just now, the Cyan giant eagle could clearly tear down Xiao Yan directly, but why did it disappear inexplicably? And this kind of trivial matter also made Yu Quan have a hunch that he did not dare. After all, the Cyan giant eagle was condensed by Yu Quan using the power of fighting immortals, but as the Cyan giant eagle disappeared into the sky, the connection between Yu Quan and the Cyan giant eagle impressively interrupted. Don't look for it, since you want to. Then I'll give it back to you. Looking at Yu Quan's rather surprised expression, the corners of his mouth obviously moved slightly, and then the space in front of him suddenly wriggled slightly. The next moment, a huge creature wrapped in blue-yellow flames slowly stepped out of that pupil. How is that possible? And seeing this scene, Yu Quan, who has always been arrogant, couldn't help shrinking his pupils tightly. Because with his perception, he knew that the Cyan giant eagle was no longer his thing. What's more, the pupils of the Cyan giant eagle were filled with an invisible flame force, and even the outermost blue-yellow flames made Yu Quan feel a wave of death. Boom boom boom! The Cyan giant eagle suddenly raised its arms to the sky, and then the blue-yellow flames all over its body jumped like an elf. Crash! After doing this, regardless of whether 3 or 7 or 1, he rushed towards Yu Quan's position frantically. Damn it! When Yu Quan saw this, his face changed greatly, and he didn't dare to stay any longer. The dazzling azure power of fighting immortals flickered on his body, and he was ready to escape. Little bastards, I'll let you bounce around for a while. When you arrive at Ghost Moon Well, you will naturally look good. And Yu Quan watched the Cyan giant eagle attacking him, and after looking at Qingwen below, he seemed to be brewing some powerful attack, and immediately backed away. Want to go? Where are you running? And Xiao Yan heard this, and immediately shouted, the flame giant eagle attacked Yu Quan directly. Shabu shabu. And Yu Quan looked at this scene, his figure flickered directly, and the next moment he escaped from here. Boom boom boom. The giant flame eagle flew into the air, and then exploded directly in midair. The gorgeous flames made the temperature of Ghost King Ridge a little higher. Damn. The wind attribute is really necessary to escape. Seeing Yu Quan, who was running so fast and fled directly from here, Xiao Yan couldn't help but cursed secretly. Continuing from the previous episode 1114. Xiao Yan, are you alright? Seeing Yu Quan retreating, Qing'er couldn't help but quickly came to Xiao Yan's side and asked aloud, her eyes full of concern. It's fine. Seeing this, Xiao Yan shook his hand to indicate that there was nothing serious, and said with a smile. If Yu Quan didn't leave just now, there would probably be a fierce battle, but Xiao Yan still underestimated the tyranny of Dou Xian's power. If you compare the power of life and death as one, then the power of fighting immortals is two, and the power of fighting immortals is indeed more than twice as tyrannical as the power of life and death. Haha, brother Xiao Yan is really amazing. Not long after, Qingwen also walked over and smiled at Xiao Yan. It's good luck, Xiao Yan said, but he was thinking about how to deal with Yu Quan. Obviously, he had just played against Yu Quan for the first time, and Xiao Yan knew that this guy didn't use all his strength. And this guy's strength is probably not only in the early stage of 1-star Dou Xian. If he uses his strength, I am afraid that it will be an extremely powerful resistance to himself at the peak of Dou Di. Who was that guy just now? Xiao Yan asked. The Yu family is in charge of affairs, and his status is not low. He is someone that the old man of the Yu family trusts. Qingwen said slowly, a manager with a high status. I hope you don't encounter it in the Ghost Moon well, otherwise it's time. Xiao Yan said softly, although this Yu Quan's power of fighting immortals is indeed tyrannical, but his own blue-yellow double flames, the power of the two is probably not comparable to the power of fighting immortals, but the strength of the two is somewhat disparate, which makes the gap seem quite small, and the difference in strength is the most troublesome for Xiao Yan. But it's a little strange. Recently, the Ghost King City has been busy preparing for the auction. For the safety of the auction items, almost all the powerhouses of the family have been secretly watched, and they can't leave the Ghost King City for half a step, but how can this guy return can come in and out freely? Qing'er said aloud from the side. Pack up and let's go. Since their Yu family is here, take the two subordinates of their Yu family away, maybe it will be useful later. Qingwen looked at the sky and said slowly. Let's go. After a few minutes of touching, everyone was ready to go directly to the depths. I only know that there is a ghost moon well in this Ghost King Ridge, but I don't know where it is. Just as the group of 5 people was surging, Xiao Yan suddenly asked. Hee, brother Xiao Yan doesn't know anything about it. Ghost King Ridge is just a general term for this mountain range. But the terrain of this mountain range is intricate and huge, so there are many treasures in the mountain range. Among them, the Ghost Moon Well is located under a place called Yinyuetan. Yinyuetan goes to the Ghost Moon Well. Qingwen smiled. Yinyuetan? Xiao Yan muttered. Obviously this was the first time he came here. Yinyuetan is quite strange. There is poisonous miasma everywhere. If you are a little careless, I am afraid that all the powerful Juxing duty will know the way. It is quite dangerous for us humans. Among them, Qingniu Tianmu is the real overlord in Yinyuetan. Qingniu Tianmu is basically the strength of fighting immortals, and the same level of fighting immortal powerhouses have nothing to do with it, let alone relying on Yinyuetan's cover. This guy is probably even more terrifying. Qingwen said, it seems that this guy is not so easy to deal with. Xiao Yan heard the words and said slightly, but he was still looking forward to Qingniu Tianmu. If he got Tianmu, then he could be described as having 2 attributes of fire and wood. That's when the real transformation. But don't worry too much. The 3 of us, Lei Qingniu, have some methods, and we will definitely have a better chance than other treasure hunters. As for this Qingniu Tianmu, maybe we have to join forces. Qingwen said, joining forces? Xiao Yan wondered when he heard the words. Brother Xiao Yan, let's be honest, we've been to Yinyuetan before, but unfortunately we were defeated by Qingniu Tianmu in a row, and we had to retreat in the end. Qingwen said in an ugly tone. That guy is very strong? Seeing this, Xiao Yan nodded slightly and asked. Qingniu Tianmu is very strong, but in the mirror of the moon Tan, it has a unique advantage. Qingwen explained. As for Qingwen, Xiaoyan knew that this guy, like himself, had the strength of Do Di's peak, but he vaguely made Xiaoyan feel that this guy was not a simple person either. After the few people finished speaking, Zaidu walked towards Yinyuetan, chatting and laughing along the way, quite harmonious. Damn little beast. On the other side, Yu Quan's figure was slightly embarrassed. Obviously, even if he escaped in the end, Xiaoyan's counterattack caused a lot of shock to himself. Steward, are you alright? Seeing Yu Quan coming back, Yu Yin, who was guarding the camp, hurriedly surrounded her and asked. I'm fine. I just didn't expect that the Qing family would actually find a strong kid as a guard, and I don't know where the Qing family got it. Yu Quan shook his head. Steward, we have the handle of their Qing family in our hands, and we can do it like this. Seeing this, Yu Jin suddenly had some other ideas. Idiot, the captain of our asterisk team was killed by that little bastard, and the 2 guards are still in their hands. Yu Quan scolded. You reading www. You can't shoo. Come, forget it, let's go first. Let's talk about it after Yinyuetan. After all, the soul beasts in Yinyuetan are not something that a few elite Do Di peaks can handle. The next moment, the Yu family tried their best not to think about other things, and said slowly. Yes! Following Yu Quan's order, Yu Jin and Yu Yin all agreed, and immediately took the home guard with him. On a rock, a burly figure slowly sat on it. The soul beast in Yinyuetan is powerful. I'm afraid that it can only be solved by waiting for other people to join forces. Lei Shi slowly sat on the rock and muttered softly. Obviously, Lei Shi had already entered the reflecting moon hall, but unfortunately, he was still driven out by the azure bull Tianmu. The scars on his body are the best proof. Immediately, Lei Shi was not in a hurry. He sat directly on the rock and calmly adjusted his breath. After all, this was the only way to enter Yinyuetan. And as the 3 forces of Lei Qingniu told Yinyuetan, some other powerhouses followed them one after another. After all, Yinyuetan's location is not too mysterious, but Qingniu Tianmu's solution, except these 3, other people don't know. Is that Yinyuetan? After a while, I came here slowly, some powerful people with decent strength. Their gazes turned slightly towards Lei Shi's back, and there was a world like A*, crystal silver and antimony transparent, and even the water surface reflected the beautiful scene in the sky.